Do you know that kind of movement that starts almost invisibly, right behind the scenes, far from the spotlight, with barely any comments, but gradually starts growing, gaining strength, and making everyone suspicious that something big is coming? Well, that's exactly the kind of atmosphere taking over the behind the scenes of Newcastle United in the last few hours. And look, anyone who knows English football knows that when this kind of silence takes over, it means something very, very big is about to happen. The atmosphere at St. James Park feels completely different. You know, that strange coming and going of board members, phone calls at odd hours, and that suspicious movement that nobody wants to talk about openly. Well, mate, that's exactly what's happening right now while you're watching this video. And if there's one thing you need to know, it's that when things start heating up like this behind the scenes at Newcastle, it's a sign that something massive is brewing and could directly impact the course of the upcoming season. By the way, if you're one of those fans who loves being one step ahead and never misses anything that happens at our beloved Newcastle, do me a favor now, hit that subscribe button. It's really important so we can keep bringing you breaking news, first-hand updates straight from the best sources like Chronicle Live, and making sure you're always in the loop with everything going on behind the scenes at St. James Park. And look, the signs are becoming clearer and clearer. That tension in the air, the constant message exchanges, that silence that actually says far more than any headline ever could. And those who closely follow Newcastle know, this isn't the first time this has happened. Last season, the very same atmosphere came just before deals that caught everyone by surprise. And now it feels like the same movie is playing out again, but with an even more intense plot this time. Well, the truth is, a very delicate situation involving one of Newcastle's top targets has come back to life in the last few hours. We're talking about none other than Marc Guehi, Crystal Palace's centre-back, who, if you remember, was already a target for Newcastle during last year's transfer window. But this time, things have gotten even more complicated. And believe me, there's some serious competition stepping in. According to information released by Chronicle Live, Newcastle are once again pushing hard to sign Marc Guehi. The defender, who also represents the England national team, has always been highly rated internally by Eddie Howe and his coaching staff. In fact, exactly a year ago, Paul Mitchell tried to make this transfer happen. But for various reasons the deal didn't progress at that time. But now, the scenario has changed, and sadly, not for the better. That's because Liverpool, the current Premier League champions, have entered the race heavily for the centre-back. The Anfield club see Guehi as the immediate replacement for Yerel Kwanzaa, who's set to join Bayer Leverkusen. And, as you can imagine, when a giant like Liverpool gets involved, the battle becomes way harder for any other club, including our Newcastle. And if you think this fight is going to be easy, think again. The negotiations between Newcastle and Crystal Palace, which were progressing well behind the scenes, suddenly cooled down as soon as Liverpool formally declared their interest in the player. This set off huge alarm bells inside St. James Park, especially because, according to the same sources, Marc Guehi himself is quite keen on the idea of wearing the Liverpool shirt next season. By the way, mate, if you're enjoying being this updated on the hottest transfer rumors and want to keep following all the details of this saga, and plenty of others that could come up, don't waste any time. Hit that subscribe button right now. It really helps us grow, keeps this community strong, and ensures you'll always get the best updates straight from top sources like Chronicle Live, Mail Online, and The Telegraph. Trust me, you won't miss a single thing. What's even more intriguing is that, according to reports, back in 2024, Guehi was seriously considering accepting an offer from Newcastle, although he never went public about it, nor pushed to leave Crystal Palace. There was definitely a desire to work with Eddie Howe and be part of the project being built at St. James Park. But time has passed, the transfer market has shifted, and sadly, the situation in 2025 is very different. Sources close to Chronicle Live revealed that, at this very moment, the defender's preference is crystal clear. Marc Guehi wants to play for Liverpool, of course. This doesn't mean the deal with Newcastle is entirely off the table, but the player's wish carries massive weight in this type of negotiation, especially when you consider that Liverpool, besides being champions, can offer him Champions League football straight away next season. Now the big question is, does Newcastle have a plan B? And look, if we take a look back at what happened last season, the answer is yes. Back then, when talks for Guehi collapsed, Newcastle's board immediately started exploring other options on the market. Some very familiar names to fans, like Axel Disasi, who was internally discussed but didn't fully convince Eddie Howe, especially after an underwhelming performance against the Magpies where he even scored an own goal at St. James Park. Another name that was on the radar was Edmund Tapsoba from Bayer Leverkusen, a centre-back highly rated across Europe, but back then, prizing him away from Germany was nearly impossible, as Leverkusen weren't even willing to entertain offers. Because of that, Newcastle made the surprising decision not to sign any centre-back at that time and instead continued the season with the squad already in place. And funny enough, the decision actually worked out. Newcastle managed to hit their goals, kept their finances balanced within the financial fair play rules, and didn't have to make any risky moves in the market. But now, the situation feels very different. The squad clearly needs urgent reinforcements, especially in defense, and the board knows they can't postpone this decision any longer. One name that has never completely left the plans is Marc Guehi, the AC Milan defender. He was in fact a priority target even before the move for Marc Guehi last year. Talks at the time progressed but hit a financial roadblock. However, considering how things have changed now, it wouldn't be surprising at all if Theo's name once again becomes a serious topic at St. James' Park. And make no mistake, this isn't just empty speculation. According to recent reports from Chronicle Live, also echoed by outlets like Team Talk and Mail Sport, Newcastle are indeed closely monitoring Marc Guehi's situation once again. Talks with AC Milan are still at an early stage, but expectations are that if the Guehi deal collapses, Theo will immediately become the board's top priority. Now, if you've made it this far into the video, it's because you genuinely love staying fully informed about everything happening at our beloved Newcastle, right? So do me a massive favor, subscribe to the channel right now. It really helps our community grow and guarantees that you'll always receive first-hand news, behind-the-scenes updates, rumors, and every transfer twist involving our beloved Newcastle United. The million-pound question now is, will Newcastle be able to win this battle against Liverpool, or will the board once again have to switch to Plan B? What's clear is that the transfer window has only just opened, and the action is already intense. Plus, more names could soon pop up on the radar, especially if the Guehi deal falls through for good. And of course, mate, rest assured that we'll be following every single detail of this story. Every meeting, every phone call, every suspicious move behind the scenes at St. James' Park will be covered right here on the channel. So, if you want to stay on top of everything, smash that notification bell, drop your like, and make sure you're subscribed. That way, you won't miss a single chapter of this transfer saga, which promises plenty of twists and drama over the coming weeks. So buckle up, Tune fans, because there's a lot more coming. And you can be absolutely certain that absolutely everything that happens at Newcastle United, you'll hear about it first, right here, with information straight from the best sources like Chronicle Live, Team Talk, The Telegraph, and many more that cover every single step of our club. Let's go together on this journey.